Welcome to Drafting Out Loud, powered by the Leverage Lab. On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing a bunch of slow drafts. And the theme for today, I believe, is going to be Jalen Waddle. As you know, I've been looking at grabbing a lot of Josh Jacobs, a lot of Cam Scatterbo. I expect them to probably rise, but I think the person with the most momentum at this exact moment is Jalen Waddle. With that, I think I want to get ahead of that one because I think he's going to rise. I bet you he's probably going to pass up Marshawn Lloyd, Cam Scatterbo. It looks like the momentum is headed that way. And I don't think there's going to be any like positive news on the other players in the next week, 2 weeks to make them rise up and the uh stop the Jalen Waddle hype. Because of that, I think I'm going to start drafting Waddle ahead of them and then see how that looks. Also, it's going to be some different combinations on teams possibly. And I think I'm going to get ahead of the market here if I do that. So let's get into some drafts. And you can see these are my underdog market movers here. You can see that Jalen Waddle is one of the risers, up half a pick in the last 2 days, 1.2 picks in the last 7 days. And it's just all been a very recent rise. I expect it to continue. Let's get into the first draft here. So this is the first draft, and like I said, we know what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be taking Jalen Waddle. That's kind of why I started with this one. Not only do I have an hour left in it, but it was thematically correct for what we're going to do here. Typically, what we were doing before this, we were taking Josh Jacobs, we were taking Cam Scatterbo. I do think Jalen Waddle might just pass all of these players on the board and end up going in the 30s. So we're going to try to get ahead of this right now. Grab him at 39, which like I said, I think he'll probably be going before this pretty darn soon if I am correct. So let's just take him here and see what happens. With this too, I do think like one of the concerns is like, oh no, am I going to only have two running backs or something like that? But look at pick 58 here. At pick 58, we might be able to get one of these running backs falling to us. And if they do, then that even makes that Jalen Waddle pick maybe even better. Uh, while I do think there's probably higher upside for Josh Jacobs and Cam Scatterbo, there are probably lots of worlds where they have good seasons, but these guys have equally good seasons or something like that. So they don't separate that much. And at the same time, in those seasons, I think it's pretty easy for Jalen Waddle to separate over someone like Carnell Tate or Rome Odunze or Brian Thomas or Jordan Tyson. So I think this pick probably makes sense, not only from a market perspective, but from a building a team perspective possibly as well. So maybe kicking myself with some of my other builds. We'll see though as we go. Waddle is rising up, so there's less of a chance you can get Waddle in the fifth. When you can get Waddle in the fifth, maybe it made sense to go Scatterbo in the fourth, and then Waddle comes back around the next pick. Thank you very much, and we keep on going. But we're taking Waddle here in the fourth. Next draft here. This next one here, we're in round 14. We have a 3, 4, 5, 1. We took Daniel Jones essentially at ADP. I believe this is the one where we took him at ADP because we felt like we could put like a little bit of pressure at quarterback, and there was nothing else we really, really, really liked. And looks like we didn't put too much pressure, on things. Daniel Jones is one of the last quarterbacks. So in fact, CJ Stroud went before. Oh, okay. So I mean, that's, I'm not Cam Ward. We took CJ Stroud in the 12th at ADP with Jaden Higgins. And then Daniel Jones came back to us 148 for us to pair up with Josh Downs. We have three quarterbacks on this one. And I think of decent, we got them at decent value type of thing. We didn't pull any of them up at least, and they're all a little bit later on type of thing. They're all correlated. So a lot of good things going on there. Dalton Schultz went right there. I'm sure Dalton Schultz was the pick we wanted to be our second tight end. That being said, we have Colston Loveland. So we don't need to panic at tight end. So really at this point in time, it's thinking about what we want here. We don't need QBs. We probably don't even need running backs at all. Although tacking on one at the very end could be a thing we could do, but we don't need to go and grab someone right now. Zach Charbonnet's got a little bit of positive stuff, but not enough to really kind of start grabbing him in this type of build, which means it's really about wide receiver. And we don't really have anything that we can correlate with, which means that it's a Flournoy or a Deebo Samuel thing. When Deebo Samuel signs, he's probably going to go up. Flournoy, I think, has kind of hit his cap. In fact, once Deebo signs, Flournoy might fall down a little bit. So I think we're going to go Deebo Samuel here and then figure out what to do with the next pick from there. And then later on in a draft like this, we might go Flournoy instead of Deebo Samuel. But right now, we're going to go Deebo Samuel as wide receiver number 6. And this is just a really solid team. When you get these later quarterbacks, it makes you feel really good with the rest of your picks. So Deebo Samuel, it is. Next one. Okay, this next one, when we got Justin Herbert at the top, that usually means that, yeah, we got Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey's been one of the players that we've been drafting a good amount. We've been pulling Ladd McConkey up. So let's see here. There's only one player after us. We're almost at the 7-8 turn. We got Godwin and Downs queued up as maybe our next guys, possibly. It looks like because we have Tyler Warren and Emeka Egbuka. So that makes sense why we take one of those players right there. RJ Harvey, I think, is a fun pick always as well, but maybe we don't do that on this one just to get the correlation, lean into the 2 running backs here. I know a lot of people are taking 3 and 4 running backs, and I have as well, but I think it's fun to tell a story with your team, and sometimes that means you go a little light somewhere as well. And we start off really hard with 2 running backs to start, and let's get a little unique compared to maybe what a lot of people are doing in this situation. But we're going to grab Justin Herbert here, and one of these guys got to fall to us like 99% of the time. So let's go Justin Herbert here. Justin Herbert, he's not a riser right now, but I got to think he's going to start rising with all the buzz on the Los Angeles Chargers. So we're definitely going to, keep on doing this type of thing as Ladd McConkey, who actually is on the risers list, I think, as well, right? Is he still on the risers list? Let's take a look. Yeah, Quentin Johnson on the risers list. Ladd McConkey still on the risers list. Omarion Hampton not on it, but those two are. Omarion Hampton has less room to rise up. So because of that, it makes more and more sense for us to go and get Ladd McConkey and then get Hurts there. Not Hurts there. Get Herbert there. You got to think Herbert's going to start rising up more as there's more pressure on him due to people investing more in their wide receivers. Similar to like a Caleb Williams. Okay. Pick number 98. Brock Purdy's still available too, by the way, and I have 0 QBs. We had Jared Goff queued up. We had Jared Goff queued up because we got a DeAndre Swift, Colston Loveland thing going on here. I bet you we wanted Caleb. Of course, we wanted Caleb Williams to fall. Was it even close? Oh, but it would have been a long time ago. No, he went over here with the Rome Odunze drafter. That seems, whatever. He pulled him up, I guess. I don't think I would have done it. And then pulling this up maybe makes it so that Herbert doesn't get back to you. But that being said, I don't think in this world it made much of a difference as far as that goes. Interesting that this guy here was so high on, he took my quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, who I wanted with Rice. He was so quarterback hungry, but didn't take a stacked Joe Burrow, but then took an unstacked Justin Herbert and an unstacked, uncorrelated Patrick Mahomes. Okay, which leads me to this weird situation here. You can see I have Jared Goff. I'm gonna do this for a second here because I think I'm probably gonna do that, but do I have any Giants or no, I don't. So I had Jared Goff queued up as a bring back essentially on this thing here. Josh Downs got to meet 95, so I took him. And Brock Purdy still available. It's tough to pass on Brock Purdy for two reasons. One, I think we've learned that bringbacks and stuff like that aren't as important as we thought. They're important, but they're not as important as we thought they were. And so if you're pulling players up too much, it's probably hurting you instead of helping you. You got to assume that the market knows what's best to a certain extent when it comes to ADP. So if we think about that, we got to think that falling Brock Purdy past ADP is more valuable to the team than a Jared Goff, who's a bringback. On top of that, and this is a big risk, but I mean, a big risk in that is probably not going to happen, but it's possible. Look at this. This guy's got Gibbs, Jameson Williams, and Sam Laporta. So really, we only need to dodge one Detroit Lion. He does have one QB already here. He also could stack up Bo Nix, I think, who is still available if he wanted to, with Dobbins. He could also stack up Love with Kraft if he wanted to do that as well. Or he could just not grab another QB because he likes that he has Jayden Daniels and he wants to get other positions if you want to do that as well, considering he only has three wide receivers. One of them is Tay. He has shown that he will stack, though, right? Like he took McLaurin here and then Daniels here. So the chances are we probably lose out on Goff if we don't take him here. But this is almost like one of the best times to do it, probably, because the room has shown that they'll let a quarterback go through over on this part of the board. And none of these guys have lines, only this one guy. So we're going to do what I think people are learning in best ball in general, which is don't reach just to reach. And we're going to learn that lesson, I think, here. We're going to take Brock Purdy, hope that Jared Goff makes it around. Probably not. If he doesn't, I've also seen like Kyler Murray make it all the way around or something like that. So maybe we do something like that if he makes it all the way around. If he doesn't, of course, we're in a weird position. We also have Aaron Rodgers here as a potential thing going on. And we also have apparently, this is me. We also have two Arizona players, which means maybe we want to do like an Arizona thing, which we have not done much of, if any of. We've got like a Brissett on a team and probably regretting that we drafted that one, but maybe an Arizona thing as well. We'll figure that out as it goes, but we're going to go Brock Purdy here. We also need receivers, so we can always take plenty of other receivers, and there's um, other, whatchamacallit, Eagles available. So there's plenty of players to choose from later on, but Brock Purdy, welcome to the team. Next up, 2 hours left on this one. We already have two QBs. We got a 2-3-3-0 going on this one. We've taken a ton of Jonathan Brooks. We actually put Jakobi Meyers ahead of Jonathan Brooks. This makes sense why we did it. We have Jayden Daniels. We have three running backs. Jonathan Brooks would be our target here oftentimes, but we can go Jakobi Meyers. And then we can kind of cross our fingers. Does Rachaad White make his way all the way back around to us in the next round? That's more likely on DraftKings than on Underdog, but it is a possibility. On top of that, that gives us our fourth wide receiver, which would be nice. Like I said, it is a bring back as well on it. It does open up a correlated running back for our fourth one. In addition, there are other running backs that are available that would be correlated, like a Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, like a Chris Rodriguez, who'd be a bring back. Also a Jordan Mason, who is rising up the boards because coach or the most recent speak has been that he's going to be the starter. So I think this is an instance where maybe not grabbing our guy in Jonathan Brooks makes the most sense based on all that. So we're going to take, and I don't think, let's take a look just for fun. If we go look at our Jayden Daniels, which we're essentially at market, slightly below market with him. I think that's going to be rising once a lot of these slow drafts finish up. You can see we haven't done any backstacking at all. Let's see if we have any Brooks with him. Okay, we got Jonathan Brooks one time with him. Looks like it's at ADP, so nothing crazy. Do we have any Jacoby Myers? No Jacoby yet. So we're going to take Jacoby Myers on this one and see what happens with our next pick. I think it makes sense with this one. There's a world where Jonathan Brooks doesn't smash, right? So we shouldn't just take him in every one. We should take him strategically based on what's available. And I think this makes some sense on this one. If we only had like two running backs, maybe then we just take Jonathan Brooks and figure out the next pick from there. Or if Jacoby Myers starts falling down the board, he is falling ever so slowly. But Jonathan Brooks isn't rising as fast anymore either. I don't think. If we look here, let's see if he is one of the risers. So he is not one of the risers right now. And Jacoby is not one of the fallers. So neither of them are moving as fast as they have in the past. We're just going to go and take Jacoby Myers. I think it makes sense for this team. Maybe Jonathan Brooks makes his way all the way back. That'd be pretty sweet. But we'll take Rachaad White if we have to. Next one. We got only one player to choose from. Kyler Murray at 122 is pretty sweet. Thank you. That guy's got to be saying thank you. Wan'Dale Robinson at 120 is pretty good as well, if I'm not mistaken. Matt Stafford at 117. That's what I've been trying to do, and I haven't been able to get it to work often, if at all. So this guy here has got to be feeling well. This is what I'm trying to do. Take the running back here and then push Stafford all the way around. Let's see. Yeah, so I like how this guy did this, and this is what I've been trying to do too. He's got Puka. Davante Adams is to the left of him. So that means that he can take someone here, and if everything goes according to plan, he's got a first shot at Matthew Stafford before the Davante Adams drafter. He does have 0 tight ends, so you can expect him to want to grab, Ferguson at 189 most likely, which is unfortunate because that means we got to take him at 171 if we want him, which we probably won't want to do. So we got to keep that in mind as we go through this. That being said, we have like a Hunter Henry here that we should be getting with our bow. No, we got what's his face right now. So we got to worry about it. Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews and Brock Bowers are both week 13. I think it's such a like we're not gonna be able to get Ferguson. We could do like a Mark. The question is, there's something else that makes a whole lot of sense. I don't think we need a running back. We have 4 running backs already. We have at least 2 that are going to start off strong, ideally, and then hopefully 2 that do more and more as the season progresses. Maybe he starts off strong. Maybe he needs to ramp up just a tad. Maybe he starts off strong. Maybe he needs to ramp up just a tad. But 4 running backs, we don't need to grab a 5th one, especially someone like Aaron Jones. There isn't a receiver here that I think we need. Mark Andrews is a bring back on Joe Burrow. No, not many people are going to have Brock Bowers, Mark Andrews. If we want to, we can grab a 3rd tight end. We don't. This might be one where we just say, you know what, 2 week 13 tight ends, and we roll the dice. We got a falling Joe Burrow. We got a falling Drake May. We got a falling Cam. We got a falling Rico. Falling Josh Downs. Maybe we just say, you know what? Brock Bowers, couple picks past. Let's just pull up Mark Andrews to correlate our team and have a Cincinnati Baltimore bring back and see what happens. Let's do it. Boom. I did that. One thing I probably should have checked too is I don't think I've done that much. I just haven't, I don't think I got a whole lot of Burrow. And I think that a lot of times the Zay draft, the not the Zay, the Lamar drafters in a place where he has a chance at Mark Andrews first. Let's just see how many times we've done this, if at all. Something we should have checked. Well, we only have one draft with Joe Burrow. So did we get him? No, we did not. Okay. We were not able to get Mark Andrews with them. So the first time doing that. That's nice. Next one here. Oh, we had Zay Flowers queued up. That would have been nice. We've been pulling up Ladd McConkey in these situations over Travis Etienne. I mean, I don't know how many times we've had this exact situation, but Miami would be the bring back on this. Chargers is the bring back on this. So there you go. That'd be a KC Los Angeles Chargers bring back. That's not bad right there. I think I got another one that's currently in the hopper right now. That's like that as well, not finished. I don't think I have any. Let's just check though. Maybe I do. Kenneth Walker. 5 Kenneth Walkers. And we can see if we have any bringbacks here. Yeah, we have no bringbacks that are actually going down with Ladd McConkey right now. So this would be a first. I believe there's another one. If I was to look at what I got going in the hopper, though, like that, I might not even have it logged, though. Just gonna check for fun over here. Just give me 1 second. No, don't have it logged over there. So this might be the first one. Okay, we're gonna have a Kenneth Walker, Ladd McConkey bring back. Some that I'm pulling up. I'd be pulling him up, I think, here based on who's available, even if I didn't have Kenneth Walker. In addition, I think he is, yeah, no, we know he's on the risers list, right? Boom. Not a heavy riser, but he is rising, and we got him on our team. Ladd McConkey. There we go. Okay. Oh, this you can look here. Zay Flowers taken, T. Higgins taken. There's Ladd McConkey. There's Trey McBride. I think we don't have Trey McBride, someone we're not taking a lot of. We're taking a lot of Ladd McConkey. We might still be overweight in the drafts we finished, but I'm sure we'll be underweight at the end with Trey McBride because not taking a lot of them, but getting him this many picks past ADP. There's always a chance that Ladd McConkey falls to you at pick 41. Probably not, but there's a chance. Let's see if we have this first. Amon-Ra, Trey McBride. Start over here. Amon-Ra. We have a Trey Harris. No Trey McBride. So this will be the first time that we've done this. We're getting him at a discount, even though it's not our favorite click. Whoops. Here we are. Even though it's not our favorite click, I think it makes sense if we get him that far past. I don't know how much further he's going to fall. He's fallen past a number of players. I thought that was Brock Bowers for a second. Over here, it's not. He's fallen past other players that I don't think he's going to fall past consistently. We're going to do it. We're going to take the Trey McBride fall and figure out our next pick in the next round. Okay, no one's queued up in this one at all. Trey McBride fell. When did we just get him? Pick 32. He fell to 32 in this one also. This guy took Ladd though. Ouch. Here's a nightmare scenario. We only have one running back. We could justify taking any of these 3 running backs. I don't mind either of these coming back. We also have Waddle, who we want there too. This one's a little tough. I believe I saw. Let's look at our risers again. Was Igbuka on here? Yeah. Igbuka's rising up the boards. I don't know why, but he is. Igbuka at 36.6. We're at pick 33. I can't, I mean, he could rise up more. He's more expensive. Is on DraftKings, he's more expensive than, I guess. Is he a value? No, I think he's cheaper on DraftKings. Not sure though, to tell you the truth. Let's take a look here. Is he a value? Trey McBride's a value over here, and we got him at more of a value. That's nice. Okay, he is a value over here on Underdog. I was right. He usually goes at 32 on DraftKings. He's going here at 36.6 on Underdog. That's a 4.6 pick value very early in the draft, right there is what that is. So we can justify this in a couple different ways why we might want to do this. Not a huge fan, but let's see if we've done a lot of CeeDee Lamb Igbuka. I doubt we have. I don't think we're that high. I don't think yeah, we don't have him at all with CeeDee Lamb. How about Saquon Barkley with not much Saquon Barkley right now? We did draft Igbuka on one of those teams. We can use our combo catalyst tool to click on Igbuka here, see what that team looked like. Looks like we pulled up Baker Mayfield to make sure we got the stack with Igbuka. We got Ott in there as well. Godwin. So we got the triple, the quadruple with Jalen McMillan well ahead as well. Looks like we got a decent amount of value with some other players. Xavier Worthy, Aaron Rodgers, Ryan Flournoy. Scat got a falling Scatabo, or not even a falling, probably this was maybe an earlier draft. Got a Scatabo when he was cheaper. Chig when he was cheaper. Baker might have been more expensive this time, to tell you the truth, actually. Pulling up Debo here. Expect that to be a good pick later on. And Jane Daniels on this one. Okay. Looks like a fun team. I think we're gonna pull up Igbuka. I'm not there's a lot of people that are high on him. They think that if you look at what he did in the first half of the year, it's more representative of what is expected maybe this year versus what happened in the second half of the year. They think that the team's healthy this year. He's healthy this year, which he wasn't the second half of the year. And this gives us the option here to then, in the next pick, take either a running back, even a QB, I guess. Kyren Williams would be a bring back, so that might be the most fun of those running backs there. And then if those aren't, and I kind of hope they all get drafted to to a certain extent. But if they don't get drafted, it'll be a hard decision if you're looking at them, as well as looking at Josh Jacobs, Cam Scatabo, and then like we were saying, Jalen Waddle. So really, it's Igbuka for this pick, and then I'm not sure what we'll do with the next pick, but it's one of these guys most likely. We're gonna go with Igbuka here though, and figure out the rest. Boom. That puts the rest of the teams in a tough position. This team's got two running backs. 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 This team or there are okay, this team's got one running back, two, and then two. So basically, these two teams aren't going to want to, double tap running backs. Theoretically, all three of them could get taken either by this team taking two or this team taking all three teams taking one or something like that, possibly. And that'd be, I think, the ideal scenario for me. If you ask me, like, don't even tempt me with the running backs. Let me just take Jalen Waddle instead. That'd be ideal, I think. But we'll see what happens. Okay. Next one here, we got Aaron Rodgers queued up for a Lamar, CJ Stroud, Aaron Rodgers team. Why? Okay. We do have, this is just a very well-balanced team, I think is what it is. One early quarterback, one of the later quarterbacks. Lamar stacked with Zay Flowers. We have okay, look at this. We got Puka, so I'm guessing we try to push. My guess is we probably try to push Matthew Stafford on here. Oh, so close. Look at this. Yeah, we did what we talked about. We took Dobbins here to change it up instead of Brooks. Dobbins is going higher than Brooks. I don't know how I feel about that pick instead, but we did it. Stafford was 2 picks away from getting to us. We got Gainwell instead to kind of like add on to this St. Louis thing, not St. Louis anymore, Los Angeles thing without the quarterback, which is okay. We got Andrews to stack up with Zay Flower or Lamar Jackson. We got CJ Stroud to fall to us at 141 to go with Nico. We took Zach Charbonnet here, who's gotten a little bit of positive news about maybe coming back earlier than expected. I don't know how true that is, but I think it maybe makes sense on this team here, in that I think we have a lot of guys to get us through the beginning of the season. And hopefully we have someone that is a hammer for the end of the season at running back. We have 5 running backs. We could grab a 6th if we wanted to, or we could keep it at 5. We started off strong at wide receiver with 4 wide receivers to start, and then even our 5th one in round 7. So very old school approach. And we have 2 tight ends here, and you can see I got another tight end queued up here in Terrence Ferguson, if we can make it, just because I think he's a fun click at this point in time, especially considering we lost. Oh, no, we did get Schultz on this one, but I think Ferguson would be a nice 3-headed tight end monster here too. Early season, and then, late season hammer as well at tight end. We can get Rodgers here, and then we can look at Bernard or Surratt for Lamar Jackson, or Rashad Bateman, who is apparently is expecting more run. There's a lot of different wide receiver options that we can grab. There's even Houston guys, Pittsburgh guys, and Baltimore guys that we can go with late if we want to, but we can stop at 5 or 6 wide receivers if we really want to, and we can tack on more running backs if we want to, or tack on more tight ends. So I do think this is a team where it makes sense to go with a 3rd QB, even though we have Lamar, because we're just so solid everywhere. And we're going to pull him up a couple picks. And I do think that Aaron Rodgers to Jaylen Warren is possibly the best Pittsburgh stack with how Aaron Rodgers passes the ball. He does have more short targets than before, but it still might be the best stack. Aaron Rodgers to Jaylen Warren, just like last year, Aaron Rodgers to Kenny Gainwell, who we have also on our team here. Okay, let's do it. Aaron Rodgers. Boom. I know we're doing this after the fact here. We do have a good amount of Aaron Rodgers. You can see well overweight. You can see that we have correlated him with a bunch of late round players, as well as a lot of just randomly targeting Titans over here as well to go along with it. So just different variations of those builds, it looks like. Okay. Next one here. Tootin was taken at 51. Okay, here's one where we took Waddle. I think this is the first one that we did this with. Kind of hoping that Scatabo would make it all the way around. He didn't. You can see they went hardcore running back throughout here. You'll see that sometimes. Leaves us with a 0-1-3. I do think taking a running back here makes a lot of sense. Looking at what's available. Now, I think I've done the Bucky Puka thing a ton of times. I also have the Trevion, AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle thing also. So we could do either one of these. I'm going to flip it this way here, and that actually would be better ADP. Trevion would be a better ADP. Let's take a look really quick. We're going to go to Puka. You can actually see right here. Almost every team has Bucky on it. We don't want it to be that way. We want them to be a little different. Do we have any Henderson at all? We haven't drafted him one time with Puka. Not that that makes a whole lot of sense. Not that like that combination would make a whole lot of sense, but it's good to have variation. And then if we go to AJ Brown, we might have a decent amount of Henderson with these. Actually, look right here, only 25%. So it's not like we're even doing this a whole ton either. And this one makes a lot more sense. You probably want to be a little more overweight on this one. It makes sense on this team, considering this would be a stack and a bring back at a better ADP, and we haven't done it as much versus this would only be a bring back, and it's one we've done it a lot of times. Okay, Trevion Henderson to the team. Last underdog one. We're pick 105. Sam Laporta is falling down the board. He's the best ADP value. I think it's fun to scoop those if it makes sense. We have one QB. We do have Cam and CeeDee Lamb. You can see Jackson Dart went right here. I bet you we had Jackson Dart queued up. We only have two running backs. I bet you we had Jonathan Brooks queued up. He got taken as well. We're not going to pull up Kenny Gainwell. We have four wide receivers. No correlation with Jacoby Myers. We could do like pull up Matthew Golden for our fifth wide receiver, which would be fine as well. Or let's see it from a QB perspective. From a QB perspective, Jordan Love is still available. Jared Goff is still available also. So we could grab the best ADP value here. We could hopefully get a QB to push past their, like a little bit of a fall on a QB. And that way we could avoid this kind of like, if you ask me, a little unfun section to a certain extent. At pick what? Pick 112. Yeah, that's kind of like unfun to a certain extent, depending on what players you have on your team. There's only three players to go after us. Two of them a QB. One doesn't have a QB. He's got Reed, so he's likely to take Jordan Love. Where's the Amon drafter? Amon drafter's on the left side of us. I bet you there's Williams, there's Gibbs. So if we take Laporta here, we're probably opening ourselves up to get Goff. If we don't get Goff, with only so many drafters after us, maybe a Bo Nix or a Kyler Murray is just, and hopefully not Kyler Murray because they're both week 6, but maybe we consider that. And then we get like a Daniel Jones at the end or something like that to go with it. Could be something that we do. We're going to take the value of Sam Laporta here at 96, though. go like double mid-tier tight end and open ourselves up for a falling Jared Goff on this one. So we're crossing our fingers on two drafts here today for a falling Jared Goff. Let's see if it actually happens. Very light at running back. We're gonna have to go hard at running back later on. And this might be just like a two QB. Oh, hold on. Goff is also week 6. That'd be kind of tough. We're gonna do it anyways. And then if we do have to get a Daniel Jones to go with it as well, maybe we do that. Any other options? I don't know. I'm not sure, but we'll stop at two tight ends almost for sure. So that'll give us that option of only two tight ends, and we'll figure it out from there. We're gonna go Sam Laporta at the value. I just don't think there's anything else that we really need to pull up that we could we could pull up. No, if we pull up Matthew Golden, we're still not going to get guarantee a Jordan Love fall. We could pull up Jordan Love. But then we might not even get Matthew Golden falling too. And then we're stuck in this range where there's a lot of not fun picks to go around. Kyler Murray's week 6, so we wouldn't really want to think about pulling him up. Okay, we're going Sam Laporta. We're figuring out from there. That at least stops us lets us stop at two tight ends, gives us an extra pick somewhere else. And it gives us the value at Sam Laporta. I think 96 is already a pretty good pick for him, and I don't take enough of him. So if you get him at 105, I think you got to do it. Okay. Over here, 52 minutes left. Round 18. 3, 5, 7, 2. You can do whatever you want here at the end of the draft. We do have Loveland, Fannin, tight end room, so stopping at 2 is totally makes sense. You can see we do have a bunch of tight ends queued up here to think about at the end. As we go along, we have 5 running backs: Cook, Hampton, Henderson, Algier, Blue. We could go 6 running backs or keep it 5. I think either is acceptable with what we have going on, considering where wide receivers are coming out of. We could even stop at 2 tight ends and not go with one of the tight ends. We'll have to figure out the rest of it, but I think wide receivers obviously this pick. And Thornton would correlate with this in that it would give us a bring back on the Chargers. And I don't see anyone here that we need to take instead of him. We're going to go Thornton with this pick. Okay. Okay, we got the other side of this with Patrick Mahomes. We did take Thornton here. We actually have Chris Bell queued up on this one. We didn't take Chris Bell on the other one. I think he was available too, if I'm not mistaken. We do have Thornton's on our team, so he's not available now. We have 7 wide receivers again. I think maybe Chris Bell. Why do we have him queued up? We have Devon Achane here. So we're hoping for some good things going on in Miami if we take Chris Bell. It gives us an upside wide receiver. We have Pittman in here. We have Worthy, Higgins, Lornoy, Thornton. We have Kraft, Schultz, Ferguson. I could see us going 2 more wide receivers on this one, possibly. Like Chris Bell for the upside swing, which we have a decent amount with. Like Flournoy's kind of he's not upside. He's I don't know if you want to call him upside or a little bit of upside, a little bit of floor. We just don't have the most exciting wide receiver room on this team. We definitely don't need any more running backs. We have Cook, Achan, Jacobs, Swift, Blue. We could use another tight end possibly, but we're fine there too. So it's really either wide receiver or tight end with this next pick after this one here. We have 3 hours, 42 minutes to think about this one if we wanted to think about it longer. Chris Bell with Devon Achan. So we're kind of betting on Miami to do something this year. They don't do anything. That's our second round pick, right? Like we're kind of in trouble anyways. We are going Chris Bell on this one. Okay. Those are the drafts for the day. We looked at our leverage lab to identify why we were targeting who we're targeting, and we made sure that our combinations made sense using our combo catalyst. See you on the next one. Peace.